Hi, my name is Zach Towns, and this is my project Light Sleeper for Info 476 with Professor Burke. So a little bit about my project. The Light Sleeper is an alarm clock that uses a photoresistor to turn on and off its display. I came up with this idea because I'm one of those people who needs the room to be pitch black just to fall asleep. And one thing I always noticed when I was going to bed was that the alarm clock produced so much light from the LEDs on the inside, and I was always throwing a towel or shirt over it, so I thought, why not create an alarm clock where the display would just turn it on and off with your lights in your room? So I had to learn a couple skills such as 3D printing, coding, how to use an Arduino Uno board, and simple circuitry such as capacitors and transistors and stuff like that. So what I first had to learn was how to use a 3D printer, and luckily there was a course at Salisbury this year that allowed me to use a Make-A-Gear M2, which you see in this video clip, and I'm actually printing the box for the Light Sleeper right now. This is the start of the base, and you can see I'm using Prowler face to print it. So in order to get this going, this is the base almost completed, you have to use a series of programs. First you start with Autodesk 123D Design to create the box itself, and then you throw it into a program called Slicer to get the G code, and then into Prowler face, which is what I showed on the screen earlier, to get the printer to run. So after learning how to 3D print, my next step in the project was to learn how to use some simple circuitry. So I started out studying some basics of electricity, such as Ohm's law, how to compute resistance, voltage, power, and then I started making things such as just a simple LED that would turn on and off, and then things such as using a servo motor. Then we used a speaker. And once I pretty much figured out how to use all those kinds of things, I started building my own circuit for the Light Sleeper, which you see here in this picture. Uh, on the Light Sleeper, it has an LCD screen that has a bunch of jumper wires connected to the Arduino Uno board, which basically is a mini processor that runs everything. And then there is a speaker and the photoresistor. And the photoresistor is what turns the screen on and off by detecting light in the room. And that little blue knob makes the screen darker or lighter. So once I had the circuitry done, it was time to move on to the next step, which was coding. And to code the Arduino Uno board, you just use what Arduino provides on their website, and you have to use their style of coding, which is similar to C++, which was kind of difficult for me to learn. So here is my code that I use for the Light Sleeper. As you can see, this is what the Arduino interface looks like, and basically to get this thing going I had to include some libraries such as the liquid crystal, time, and time alarms, which have all the functions needed to produce the display on the alarm clock, well, the LCD. So in order to get the photoresistor to work, I had to come up with a loop that would say when it was dark enough in the room that the display would turn off. And to do that, I had to do a bunch of testing with just random lights and random darkness to find the right code, which you do through an analog read on the Arduino program. So once I had all that figured out, the last step in the program was to get the alarm clock to create a sound once the set alarm would go off. And this proved a little more difficult because the built-in time alarm functions weren't working with the for loop I had to create the sounds, which was kind of weird because logically I thought it all made sense. But after countless hours of tinkering, I would manage to finally get it to turn on once the alarm hit a certain point, and you'll see it later. So here's what the circuit would have looked like if I was able to put it inside the box. I wasn't able to solder, so uh, unfortunately I blew one of my LCD screens, and this is what it would look like. If the LCD was in the box, you can see on the right it would look like this. I had a yo-yo to keep the LCD from falling backwards. You would have to super glue it in, and then there's the circuit, and it's all connected up to the code on the laptop. Here's some more images of the box I created. On the top you see two small holes for the photoresistor and a button if possible. And then next would be a side port for the power supply, which you see right here. So here's a clip of my project actually working. I have the alarm set for 10 o'clock, and you can see as I put my finger over the photoresistor, it turns off the display to act as darkness, which was the whole point. And in the next clip, I'll let you hear the sound.
And lower.
And that concludes my presentation on the light sleeper. I hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely learned a lot from this project, and I hope to use it further in life and maybe one day make a career using 3D printers and Arduino boards, because it's definitely something I got into and love spending time doing. Thank you.